Hello watch lovers! In today's video we're going to make YouTube history and do something no one has ever done before. I have a pound of watches next to me and I'm going to show them to you in order of weight from lightest to heaviest. Hello, my name is Mike and I fix watches. What I have to my left are 10 Quartz watch projects that I've picked up very affordably and done on many of them a complete overhaul, and now they're an enjoyable part of my watch collection. After this video, I will show you 3 mechanical watches which I will be doing complete overhauls on in upcoming videos, so stick around for that. Before diving into it, let's do a wrist check. Today I'm wearing this beautiful Longines dress watch from 1955. This watch uses the 9LT movement, and I just posted a complete overhaul on this watch. So please check out that video. I'll put a link above. Watch number 1, our lightest entry, is this Seiko. A Seiko 6530-5589R0. This is a black and gold Art Deco dress watch. And what I really like about this watch is just how thin and how light it is. This watch is weighing in at 23 grams. It is a featherweight watch. During the 80s and 90s, Seiko made a ton of these dress watches. This one was in kind of grungy, dirty shape, and I completely took it apart, gave it a thorough cleaning, and I put this new leather strap on it. I've kind of fallen into a pattern when I redo a Quartz watch, and that very often I get rid of the band or the bracelet, and I take apart the watch case, give it a thorough cleaning. If the movement's no good, then I usually don't put any energy into trying to fix a movement on a Quartz watch like this. But the watch gets a polishing, it gets a cleaning. I don't want to wear anyone's dirty watch. I mean, even though I'm no stranger to cleaning and I really enjoy cleaning, I don't want it touching my wrist if the watch is gross. And a lot of these watches start out gross. So if you are willing to clean, there are so many of these types of watches available. And in fact, almost every watch today was purchased at either a flea market or at a thrift shop very, very affordably. I'll point out a couple of my challenges or comments throughout this video. On this watch in particular, I got overzealous with my ultrasonic cleaning, and if you can see right there, a little bit of the water got in behind that. It's probably acrylic, some kind of plastic. That black inlay, a little bit of water got in there, and it kind of clouded it a little bit. But other than that, cosmetically, this watch is in pretty good shape. I didn't have to do anything to the crystal. I paid $2 or $3 for this watch, and so for the cost of my time and a leather strap, I've got myself what I consider a pretty nice looking dress watch. Okay, our second watch, this is a Timex Adventure Indiglo watch. This weighs in at 28 grams. And really, I haven't done anything with this watch yet. It's just sort of been sitting, waiting to be worked on. So what's going on with this watch, and why did I include it in today's video? Well, because it's quirky, and I like quirky. First, it has this leather strap. It has this bizarre dial with the numbers from 13 through 24 in big fonts around the outside, and then the 1 through 12 is on the inside. It has a rotating bezel. This bezel is marked with the points of the compass. So it gives the watch kind of a worldly feel, but I really have no idea what the relevance of having the compass points on your watch might be, but I thought it was kind of cool. I like the combination of the really dark brown leather with the copper bezel. I've always liked Indiglo just because it's Indiglo. This was like a $2 or $3 watch. I haven't done anything to it yet. So I present this to you as watch number 2 at 28 grams. At 33 grams, this is a watch I just finished working on, and I really, really like this watch. This is a Victorinox Swiss Army watch. It's rated to 50 meters. The watch has a resin case. It's an elastic strap. It's, oh my gosh, it's just so comfortable. Kind of funny story about the strap. We had a party, and the theme for the party was purple. I didn't have any straps or bracelets with a 19 millimeter lug width. So I found a 3-pack of these elastic straps with a 19 millimeter lug width for about $8. And so I got purple, gray, and black. I had a lot of hands-on time with this watch, no pun intended. When I got it, the crystal was trashed. The hands were in bad shape. The loom was falling off of the hands, so I reloomed it. The case was pretty scratched up, so I did my best to polish it. Overall, it came out great. I love wearing this watch, and it's just extremely comfortable. You forget it's there. It's easy to read. Oh yeah, easy to read is going to be a theme in this video because I just like a watch that's easy to read. And this one definitely fits the bill. Oh, here's an interesting fact on this. Down at the bottom where it says Swiss made, it has the letter T on either side of the Swiss made, and I'm presuming that stands for tritium. So this is, I don't know, I thought that this was a newer watch, but maybe it's an older watch if they're still using tritium in the loom. Okay, next watch. Coming in at 49 grams is this Citizen EcoDrive GN 4WS Forward Arrow 6. This is another $3 flea market purchase, and I spent so much time with this watch. I reconditioned the branded strap. This watch got a new crystal. This watch got a thorough polishing on the case and on the lugs, and it got a rebrushing on the lugs, and I just love how this watch came out. Being solar powered, it started right up after I exposed it to light. I thought it was a non-runner, and I've been having a very enjoyable time wearing this watch. I really like the shine of the dial and the indices, and I really feel like I've been getting more than my $3 worth out of this watch. This watch is currently available at Amazon, and I forget the actual cost, but it's actually above $100. So $3 and some elbow grease well spent. Next, at 57 grams, this is a Seiko 5Y39-1029A0. Another one of those Seiko dress watches that was probably made in the 80s or 90s, and this one is pretty clean, and I just gave it a light polishing, a little bit of a cleanup, put in a fresh battery. I don't know how worldwide this tradition is, but I know here in the United States, when you work for a company for 25 years, they give you a gold watch. And so this watch has an inscription, HR 25 years, 1991. So I enjoy the sentimental backstory to these watches, and when you get a used watch, you really have no idea of the backstory. I'm a little bit spiritual, and in my mind, I invent stories for these watches. 34 years ago, this was presented to someone named HR, who started working at the company that presented it 59 years ago. So even though I don't consider this like an old classic watch, I do consider it to be significant in that it just kind of tells a story. So HR, if you're out there watching and you recognize the watch, we got it running. And if you're feeling sentimental and want to share the story, well, leave a comment down below. 5 watches to go. These are the heavy hitters. Coming up next at 71 grams, this is a Casio G Shock 5146 GA110-MB. And this watch is an absolute beast. I mean, this thing's huge. This thing's thick. This thing is barely readable. It has so much stuff on the dial, but it has a few party tricks, and I completely dismantled this watch because I wanted to know, what makes a G Shock so tough. I videotaped the complete process of me tearing this G Shock down to its bare components, and I think I'll put together a video because it's actually pretty interesting how these are made. I personally find it too big, difficult to read. You have to get the LCD display perfectly aligned in order to read it. I really want to like this watch. I really do. And maybe it will grow on me. Can I demo what some of the party tricks are? So here's stopwatch. So if we start the stopwatch ticking, see, and like I said, you have to hold it just right. Then when you stop, so it's got this little subdial right here, and this subdial works as a tachymeter and helps you figure out miles per hour or kilometers per hour or whatever unit you want to measure. And it goes and it points to some numbers here, but I gotta tell you, I can barely read it. I can barely read the hands. There's so much going on. Nonetheless, I know how much people love their Casio G Shocks, and I thought it would be fun taking one apart, so I'll have that video coming out soon. Watch number 7 at 88 grams. This is a Croton watch. This watch started out life with me as a dive watch. I really liked the fact that it was an all stainless steel case. The crystal was cracked and chipped, and it had a rotating bezel that was all scratched up, and I ended up pulling off the rotating bezel. Wait, does it still have the bezel? Oh yeah. So I put the bezel back without the click spring and without the insert. And so now, instead of it being a dive watch, it's sort of this big, bold explorer type watch. I told you I like legibility, and this is a really good rough and tumble watch that is just easy on the wrist and really easy to read. All right, this next watch weighs in at 106 grams. This is a Diesel DZ2117, and this is sort of a big, heavy watch, and what I liked about it is it actually reminded me of the TV dial watches from the 1970s. It's got an all stainless steel case, and when I picked it up, it was on a nylon band that was color keyed to try to match this teal dial. I wasn't really a fan, but I'm like, man, just the fact that this case is all stainless steel, I want to see what it looks like on an all steel bracelet. Being someone who loves puns, seeing that it's stainless steel and that the face is teal, I refer to this as my stainless teal watch. So there you go, a Diesel weighing in at 106 grams. Okay, the second heaviest watch in this video is weighing in at 119 grams. This is a Momentum M1 dive watch, watertight to 20 atmospheres. I picked this watch up for $3. It was in the bottom of a bin of mostly costume jewelry watches, and it had a nylon dive band attached to it. And probably that's why it was overlooked. If you don't know the name brand Momentum, it's a Canadian company, and the Quartz 30, which was originally made by Chronosport, now has been reissued by Momentum. It was made famous by, of all people, Tom Selleck in the first 3 seasons of Magnum PI. And that watch had the honor of being the first dive watch that was a quartz watch. I really like the size of this watch. It has a rotating bezel, very positive unidirectional bezel. I find it easy to read. It has a nice texture on the dial that reminds me of a Seamaster's textured dial with the waves. So the case is finished in this nice matte or almost like a sandblasted finish. Everything about this has that buff color, even the back. I put this aftermarket stainless steel bracelet on it. I think it pairs with it really well. Here, let me throw it on here. It feels like it's just the right size and right proportion for my wrist. This watch has some of the nicest lume of any watches in my collection. So I've really been enjoying wearing this watch when I want the look of a dive watch, but I'm just doing something more casual and I'm knocking about because I'm not so worried about it. So if it takes a few bumps, then so be it, but I'm having fun, I'm living life, and in the meantime, it's a darn nice looking watch, especially for what I paid for it. Okay, so that is my Momentum at 119 grams. And finally, the big heavy of the show. This is the Seiko 7T93-0AW0, weighing in at 141 grams. So I'm placing this in the like late 90s or maybe early aughts. It has a rotating bezel, which really doesn't have any distinction or purpose. It just has the double mark up at the top and single marks all around the sides, but it's a very reassuring click. Has this nice domed bezel, which makes it very hard to photograph. You can see all the lights in my studio. I worked on a couple of watches for a buddy, and one of those watches was a Quartz chronograph with the same movement. I liked the precision, and it was just fun. I'm just like, I don't have a Quartz chronograph. So I picked this up off of Facebook Marketplace. You know, the other nice thing about that is you meet nice people, and the guy selling this watch, I think he said it was his grandfather's watch. One of the things that I thought was kind of cool about it is you see how it has that two-hand subdial down at the bottom. So that shows you the running time of the stopwatch. So I guess I started the stopwatch, what does it look like, 2 hours and 35 minutes ago? So anyway, let's go ahead and we'll stop the stopwatch. And now when we reset, 3, 2, 1. I'm just so amused by how that lower subdial goes crazy and then snaps right back to the 0 position. And of course it has that 1/20th of a second subdivided chronograph hand up top. Very comfortable. Stainless steel band, stainless steel case, I'm pretty sure. I like the fact that it's almost monochrome with the gray dial sort of blending in with the stainless steel case and stainless steel bracelet. Easy to read, easy on the wrist. So this is my Seiko, being the heaviest of my Quartz watches in this video, weighing in at 141 grams. That's a grand total for all of these watches of 715 grams, or just a little bit more than 1.5 pounds for all of you people who are weighing things using Imperial. Okay, if you've made it this far, I assume you're a watch enthusiast, and let me just throw in a quick commercial. My name is Mike. The channel is Watch with Mike. If you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and I look forward to your comments in the place below. So what's coming up on the channel? Well, I have 3 mechanical watch projects that I'm going to start working on. I'm not sure which one I'm going to start first, but they're all fun watches, so I thought I'll just give you a little preview today. This is a Rado Purple Horse. Where it says Purple Horse, they're seahorses. I guess they didn't have enough room to put Purple Seahorse. Rado is a brand that is especially popular in Europe. When I was looking for videos and information, I saw a lot of YouTube content coming out of India. This watch reminds me very much of a Datejust because of that fluted outer bezel. So as some of you know, I'm an Omega fan, and Omega is one of the luxury brands of the Swatch Group. Rado is also considered one of the luxury brands of the Swatch Group. So I had the opportunity to pick this watch up off of eBay. I opened it up and I took a peek inside, and I've got some cleaning ahead of me. The watch does run, but the inside of the case is very, very contaminated by pieces of gasket which disintegrated and just went everywhere. So the Rado Purple Horse will be coming to the channel. All right, this is, speaking of Swatch Group, this is an Omega. caliber 1020. I'm guessing that this is from the early 1970s. It runs, it sets, the calendar flips over, but it runs not great. So I'm going to take it apart and do a full service on this. So there you go, just a little preview. The Rado and the Omega, both hailing from the Swatch Group, and not from the Swatch Group. This is a Vulcane Cricket, and if you notice, it's got 4 hands. This is not a GMT. The Vulcane Cricket is a historic watch in that this was one of the first mechanical wristwatches to also have an alarm. And it's interesting in that you can manual wind it. When you turn the crown in one direction, it winds the motion works. This watch has a second mainspring inside. When you wind it in the opposite direction, it winds that other mainspring. The other mainspring is for the alarm. One of the challenges that they needed to overcome when they were creating a wristwatch that had an alarm in it is creating a mechanical system that was loud enough to be heard when it was worn on the wrist. So the founder of Vulcane, when he was developing this watch, he worked with physicists to come up with a source of something that is very small but very loud. And what do you think that is? I will remind you that this watch is called the Vulcane Cricket. To set it, you press in this top button, which puts it in alarm setting mode. And when that alarm hand aligns with the hour hand, wait for it, wait a minute, there we go. So you get the idea. Really interesting watch, and there's some fantastic history that goes along with this watch. So I'll save that story for when I do the servicing on this Vulcane Cricket watch. So there you go, 1.5 pounds or 715 grams of quartz watch projects that were purchased very affordably and cleaned up. I will bring some of these to the channel to show you the refurb. In the meantime, I'm just having fun with watches. You also saw a quick preview of some mechanical watches that are coming to the channel. If you like watches, please join me. My name is Mike. The channel is Watch with Mike. I look forward to your comments in the space below. If you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to our next time together. Thanks for watching.